Hi everyone. It's hard to make this kind of video, and it's with a heavy heart that I'm making it. I need to give you an update on what I know so far about Laith's death. And in all honesty, I'm doing this video because I'm hoping that the mainstream media will pick up the story again and write about it again so we can put more pressure on the embassy and furthermore in the FBI and onto the Thai police. As you all know, in Pattaya, Thailand, at Tony's house, that's where they found Laith, that you all know as Leo Rex, Leo Longevity. For me, on January 30th, 2023, I received a text message. The text message was just saying, Laith is dead. And the text was sent by Tony's associate, Ines. I don't know exactly the nature of their relationship. I found out that Ines is the one managing Swiss scam, and I know he was going to the house often, and from my understanding, he was there when the cops came. So I got the text message at 4 a.m. in the morning with the time difference, and I didn't see it until the morning. I at first didn't believe it, and then I received a call from Leo's mother that actually confirmed that he passed away. I can't even tell you what I felt at first, but this is not about me. I was in complete shock, and I didn't know what to do. So I did the first thing that a sane person will do. It's just, I Googled it. I don't know why. I just went on Google, and surprisingly, the first thing I found was the article on the Pattaya News mentioning his death and showing pictures of the scene. Keep in mind that was just a few hours after he passed. You can look at the text and see the time difference and look at when the article was published on the Pattaya News. So shortly after that, I desperately called the US Embassy in Thailand, which they were closed, but they have an emergency line for this kind of matter. And nobody picked up the phone. So I kept on calling and calling and calling until the morning somebody finally answered. And to my surprise, they at first didn't believe me. I had to call multiple times to speak to different people in order for them to take me seriously. When I was telling them that I have the news confirmed because there is a news article about it, they were as shocked as I was. And the news article also mentioned that they were already in touch with the US Embassy, which was not true at all. So for merely 3 months, Laith had been residing with Tony and his multiple girlfriends. So what could have gone wrong? I have multiple theories, and I'm just gonna let it all out today. So Tony was a financial pillar for his girlfriend / baby mamas. And I know Leo, and he was very forthcoming with his thoughts. He was under the impression that they were using Tony and not giving him the respect that he deserved, and that he was giving too much. Tony respected Leo's thoughts, and he ended up making changes. Some of those changes including moving one of the baby mama from a big house she had to a much smaller one, and apparently making other financial changes that I don't think is necessary to get into. But could have this trigger some animosity and maybe revenge? I don't know. So Leo was found behind his bathroom door. The bathroom door was located inside his bedroom, which the bedroom had a sliding door, but the bathroom door only had a small window that nobody could go through. As Tony loved to mention, he was found behind the door, and apparently it was very hard to actually push the door because his body was laying right behind it. And I love the fact that this was mentioned many, many, many times just to prove that it could have not been foul play. It could have just been an accident. But I'll get back to this. So another thing that was very triggering is the fact that many photos have been released online, and some of them that I've seen, and I don't know how I've seen them, and trust me, I don't want my daughter to ever see them, shows his body and all the concussion he had. The autopsy report, which I'll get back to, actually showed also that he had wounds and bruises. That to me means there was a fight. I'm almost certain that a fight happened. why, I don't have all the details, but what I think happened is that someone came and attacked him, or multiple people, who knows. And Leo was somebody that would defend himself, and he was very strong. One of his punch will hurt someone very bad. Somebody probably came with an object, because that's what I've done to get somebody like him. And the fight ended up in the bathroom. And I think he got hit in the head. And I think the internal brain injury that started make him weaker, and that the assailant closed the bathroom door, and that he tried to open it. And why do I think that? It's because of the door handle from the inside of the bathroom. That's broken. And I think he didn't have the strength and it just passed out and died behind the door. There was also something with the bathroom, the toilet in particular, that looked like there was bolts that were coming out, or like somebody had some tools. And this is what I found. I found a series of text messages between Tony and Leo. And Leo mentioned to Tony that there is a mold issue or some kind of issue with the bathroom, and asked Tony to send a plumber to fix it. I knew Leo very well. He would have never touched a tool from a mile away unless it was something big, and he was very scared of mold. So that could have been maybe he tried to do something with the toilet, but he would have not done anything further than that. So the police actually got fingerprints from the place and DNA sample. They got fingerprints on the bathroom, and they got some other DNA. I've got the confirmation that they have found another DNA that was not Lathes. But as same for the fingerprints, no results, nothing came out of this. Meaning, they have not produced any report. They have not processed the evidence. We are 8 months from the time that they found his body, and those evidence have not been processed and analyzed. And we're talking here about the Thai police, which I do not trust to be throughout. I do not trust that they're biased, and I do trust that they're corrupted. And multiple evidence show that I think somebody is trying to make this case closed. I think it will be best for multiple people. That's just my opinion. The official cause of death was brain trauma with skull fracture with a blunt object impact. This was the cause of death that was given to me on it and put on his death certificate. It left me with more questions than answers, because which object would have caused this? The police didn't find anything concluent that could have made this impact in the room. So they never search or never give any more details than that. And I thought we'll get more details on the autopsy report, which was not the case. To give you some context about everything that had transpired, the autopsy report was made on February 2nd, 2023. It took a month for me to get it. I finally obtained it on May 18th, 2023, after calling the Thai police multiple times, the US Embassy. But it left out crucial details that in an autopsy report in the States we will see that they didn't provide to us. We never had the exact time of death, because the official time of death when it was found, but we know that he actually died a couple of days before because of the high decomposition states of his body. They never put the real time and date of death. A lot of people love to speculate that it was a manic episode, or there was some substance that he took that could have made him manic and caused this accident. No. On the autopsy report, you can see that he had a tiny bit amount of alcohol, like so minimum that is you're not even feeling drunk at this point. I have translated it, so the concentration is 0. I mean, the conversion from percentage to the amount of blood alcohol is 0.010. So they have found presence of telmarcetin. They have found the presence of telmarcetin, which I knew he was taking, and THC, which we also knew he was smoking, so that was not unexpected. But they didn't find anything else. There was no other substance that they have found in his body, and they have tested for a lot of things. And you can see on the autopsy report yourself that there is nothing that could have made him having a manic episode. And on the external appearance part, you can see that he had bruises and concussions, and he was in like I said, high decomposition states that they couldn't even analyze certain part of his body. You can see that they actually measured like the fracture, his skull fracture, and how big it was, which side it was, which again doesn't correlate with anything that was actually in that bathroom. It is very hard for me to go back and look at all those pictures. I know they're online, and I know a group of people try to help with the investigation, which I truly appreciate, but it was not the right time and I was not ready to talk about it, and I was dealing with so many other things. But now, given that I'm sharing all of this information, if you or anybody wants to take a look at those images and try to make sense, or at least try to prove that none of the things that was found in his bathroom could have been making this impact that he had in his brain, which led to his death. So all his external injuries like really pointed towards confrontation, at least to me. He had injuries around his left eye, forehead, knees, and ankle that to me are not consistent with an accident or self-infliction. Many of you have actually inquired about the fact that the local Thai police and the FBI are involved in the case, and we're actually questioning if this was true. Well, nothing comes easy. The reason why the FBI... So, to clarify, the FBI maintains presence in different countries. However, for example, for Thailand, there's only a few agents that handles 3 countries, Thailand being one of them. So it's not a lot of presence, they're just there. And the FBI got involved because of the amount of call I probably did to the US Embassy, but also because of the circumstance of this case, but also the profiles of the individuals under investigation. That's the reason why they're still investigating, and I know for a fact that the case is not closed on the FBI side, but neither it is on the Thai police side. However, initially, a few months ago, the Thai police closed the case for no reason. After contacting them and asking for answers, they actually reopened the case and are working closely with the FBI, exchanging information to try to solve this. But this has been a very slow process. And with the corruption of the local police, it doesn't make things easy. In order to have as much pressure as possible on the Thai police and the FBI to get this solved, I actually reached out to my Congress representative, Congressman Adam Schiff, not sure how it's pronounced. And to my surprise, I got an answer to my email within 2 days, and he followed up twice, which was very contrasted with the lack of response from the representative of Leo's mother in Colorado. I just want to mention that I think it's important to thank people that helped you along the way, and I think it's important to mention that his intervention actually prompted the embassy to put pressure on the Thai law enforcement so we can get the autopsy report quicker, which actually helped. Now, when it comes to the suspects, Tony seemed unlikely. Let me rephrase. Tony seemed unlikely to have done it. He didn't have any defense injury on him. He made video immediately after. I don't know if he's involved or if he knows more than he's saying. I will let you be the judge of that. Another thing that happened is the FBI got his phone and laptop, but they were not able to open them. I was trying to help them remotely, but they couldn't do it. So I ended up asking them to send it to me, and after a few months, they actually agreed, because if they had sent it to Washington, it would have taken a year, maybe 2, before they were able to open it. I told him that I'm pretty certain that I will be able to do that. And after they sent it, it took me 48 hours in order to do that. And I ended up getting them the whole content of his phone and his laptop. But I have seen a couple of things. And one of them is the last pictures that was on his phone. You probably heard the story of the call girl mentioned by Tony that Leo saw on the 27th at night. So it's Thailand time zone. And apparently she came out of the room saying that he tried to strangle her or hurt her in some way, and she was crying, and Tony made her forget about it, I don't know, and even take a video to show that she was fine in case she was going to the police, and then offer to pay her up. And he said that he offered to pay her also, so she doesn't go report anything. Again, that's Tony's story, allegedly. But what I can say is that on Leo's phone, the picture of that girl was taken at 3:52 a.m. on the 27th. So multiple pictures were taken there, but that's not the last image taken on his phone. The last image, it's a bizarre image. It's like a blackout, and it's followed by a video that's like 2 seconds with no sound, and it's all pitch black, which was taken at 6:02 a.m. Interestingly, and I don't know if I'm making connection where there is none, but you can think by yourself and make your own conclusion. But the same girl that was seen by Leo, and keep in mind that she was the friend of the girl Tony was seeing. She worked for one of those Thai bar, and the individual owning that bar is the same individual that owns Pattaya News, which was the first article that I found regarding Leo's passing. Coming back to that article, you can see from the photos from the scenes, they were all over the place, and you can also see that when the police is on the scene doing their job, trying to do their job, and when Leo was lay there, you can also see Tony in the same scene, which I questioned the embassy and the FBI about this, and they mentioned that Thai have different rules and don't do the same thing as the US. But it's still not normal that he was allowed on the scene with them, hanging. Just let me share my DNA left and right. And to me, it just compromised the integrity of the scene and the investigation to begin with. But that's not the only thing. After reviewing the pictures published from the news articles, so there were pictures taken by God knows who, but I can see from Leo's pictures on his phone to the pictures there that some things are missing. And I do believe his room was tempered prior to the police arrival. Again, just my own opinion, not accusing anyone. I'm just saying what I found. Another thing I want to mention is that I was told that reporters, or whoever took the picture, again, not sure who exactly, but were on the scene before the police arrived. And that lets you think, like, how did they know? Who contacted them? Why? How much money did they pay that person? Of this person? So after I received his laptop, I also received one of his notebook. And on his notebook, he wrote a lot of things. And one of them was the fact that he actually wanted to leave Thailand. He wrote it in there. And he also wrote that his main goal was to come back to the US to be closer to his daughter. For those of you who think he had any risk or fled the country, that was not the case at all. Just everything is online. You can just go look and check. And Leo was a complex man, and we have a complex relationship after everything that happened. And I'm not surprised that deep down he wanted to come back and be closer to his daughter, because I knew, and I know he loved her. But also during heightened emotions, which he was known for, he would also text many women, ask them to have more children just to despite me. So that's a fact that I want to share, because I have a feeling some people are going to love expressing this after I post this video. And 2 weeks prior to his death, he actually reached out to me and wanted to reconcile. But I told him that it needed more effort on his part, that I needed him to cease any intoxicant and to pursue therapy. But he declined and asserted that he felt more informed than medical professionals. And so our conversation stopped there 2 weeks before he was found dead. This is what I know so far. This is where the investigation is at. These are the hard truth and the facts and the persistent questions. You're free to interpret and think as you see fit. And regardless, I'm going to continue my search for more information. And there's still a reward out there for anyone who can provide anything insightful. And I'm seeking your assistance to share this video. I'm aiming to capture the attention of the mainstream media again. The embassy should sense both the duty and urgency to helping to uncover the truth, because especially when a couple months, I forgot, my timeline is bad in general, but there is this German citizen that faced another tragedy and they caught the suspect within a week. So how does this reflect on the US? Like, Germany can do better than you, please. I feel like this is a big joke and it still feels surreal. I still have a lot of unanswered questions, but I appreciate everyone's support and everyone's help. Thanks again.